Hello, welcome back to Smart Martial Arts, my YouTube channel, where we go over everything martial arts. In this video, we're going to be talking about my personal 10 ways to be successful at martial arts. Number 1, train with a goal. This can be kind of difficult. If you've been doing it for so long, it's kind of hard to come up with a goal, but go into every class and say, I want to learn this, I want to practice this, or I want to ask how to be better at this. Overall, I think that's just going to be better. If you keep doing that, eventually certain things are going to be easier, and then maybe someday you can be able to teach that certain thing to other people who have that same goal one day. Number 2, treat your training seriously. As an instructor for 3 months, I've noticed a lot of mainly younger kids go in to have fun. And that's fine, we're going to go into that next. But treating your training seriously is how you're going to be successful in martial arts, because that's how you can understand what you're going to learn, and also how you can use it later on in your own, if you need to, in your own self-defense. Number 3, as I said previously, have fun with it. If you can't have fun, why do it? That is a quote from a 5th degree black belt I train with every day I go. I've taken that to heart. To me, it's fair. If you go in and you're just too serious, it can affect you, because you're not going to learn anything unless it's exactly what you want, and you're going to miss out on just the overall vibe of where you go. And also 3, it could, bring down the people you work with. We call them ukes or training partners, but it can bring them down because you're just not having fun, and it's just going to be a miserable however long you're working with them. Number 4, this is a big one. Listen to your instructors. As again, an instructor, I go into every class with what I want to teach and what I want them to get through. Everything I do in a class has a purpose, and I think that's a good thing for not only instructors to have, but also in student-wise, to listen to your instructors, because they've been where you are, and they know what they're doing for the most part. I'll say that. So listen to your instructors. Number 5, like where you train. If you go to a dojo or a martial arts school and you don't like it, don't go. Because if you don't like to go somewhere, you're not going to want to. And if you do go regardless, you're not going to learn anything, because you're just having a miserable time and it's not going to be fun for you. So just like where you train, and if you don't, make that switch and go somewhere you like. Number 6, listen to other students. I've noticed in martial arts it's very hard to learn everything. So listen to other students, because other students have gone through where you are, but also they've gone through different things. So they have more experience total. If you had a class of 10 people, you can learn more than a class of 5 people. So if you're having trouble, and maybe the instructor is busy doing something else for the student, ask the person you're working with, or ask your group, like, hey, how can I get this takedown to work? It's not working for me. Ask them, because chances are they've probably had that same question or trouble with that same material. Number 7, this is a big one. You will be criticized. I don't mean like, oh, you're doing awful. I mean, at some point, if you are doing it in front of an instructor, they will mention something that is wrong. Do not take it personally. That was one of my big things. Just listen to it and change it. If you can't really get over that, then tell your instructor, hey, we need to go about this a different way, and a good instructor will help you with that. But the biggest thing is you expect to be criticized, because that's a very big part. If you're not doing anything wrong, then you're not learning. And if your instructor won't tell you that, then they're probably, in my opinion, not the greatest instructor. I could be wrong, who knows? Number 8, kind of similar. You will be wrong. This can also go for an instructor standpoint too. But for students starting and learning, you will be wrong. That's fine. We kind of get over that, I guess, is the easiest way to describe that. If you're doing, let's say, a form, and there's a part where you're messing up, and when you're doing it, again, kind of the criticized thing, you're doing it wrong, that's fine. Being wrong is how you learn, in doing certain other things like that. So it's okay to be wrong. And when you are wrong, take it as a point in time to where that's where you can learn the most. It may not be where you're learning a completely new thing, like something that you've never seen before. It could be going back to something that you've done since the beginning and like, oh, you're not doing this right. Because the things you do in the beginning are super important. We call it basics or foundation, which I think is kind of a good thing to call it. But the basics and the foundational key things that you learn are super, super important going on. Like footwork or good guard or stuff like that. Number 9, focus on your material. If you're going in class not focused, do what you can to get in focus. If you're taking a test, right, and you're looking at it in school, you're looking at it, and you're just not mentally there, you're not going to do good in the test. It's kind of the same thing. If you are in a dojo, let's say again you're doing a form, and your mind's just everywhere but that form, stop for a second and just regain your composure and say, I'm doing this form. One thing that my instructor says is, leave your life at the door when you walk in. And that's helped me. In my dojo, when we walk in, we bow into the door before we go in. When you bow in, leave your life at the door. It doesn't matter in the 45 minutes, hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever you're doing, leave it be. Just let it go. It'll be there when you leave, so use this time to get away from it. And you might learn something. You never know. Number 10, probably the most important one on this list, practice. Oh man, as an instructor, it's very easy for me to be able to tell when people aren't practicing. If you don't practice, you're never going to learn it. Because in an hour, 45 minutes, which I think is a rough class length, your instructor has to teach everyone the same thing for the most part. They have to go help, so they can't be with you for 45 minutes. And for the most part, most people won't learn an entire thing in 45 minutes, for the most part. So go home, practice, do what you can by yourself, and get it in your head. And then when you go to class next, be like, hey, I've been doing this, is this right? And if it is, then you're going to get it right. If it's not, then you change it, and then you tweak it, and then you go home, and you practice that. That's it. Don't mind the cut, something happened outside. But that's my list of 10 ways to be successful in martial arts. I hope you liked it, I hope you appreciated it, and I hope that it was helpful.